This is Richard RJ Eskow for the Zero Hour with your random news for the week. Now, you may not have heard about this, but the the United Nations Human Rights Council reported, as it does periodically on every country, reported on the United States and its human rights record. That report was released this week, and it was anything but favorable. 348 recommendations were given in order to address myriad human rights violations in the United States. Now, every country, as we said, is reviewed periodically, but here are some of the things that the UN Human Rights Council found need to be fixed here in the United States. We need to, quote, halt the detention of immigrant families and children, seek alternatives to detention, and end the use of detention for reasons of deterrence, close quote. That is a UN recommendation. We also need to, quote, further ensure that all victims of torture and ill treatment, whether still in U.S. custody or not, obtain redress and have an enforceable right to fair and adequate compensation and as full rehabilitation as possible, including medical and psychological assistance, end quote. Now, we did get good marks on certain issues such as lesbian and gay rights relative to other countries. However, another recommendation was that the U.S., quote, adopt measures at the federal level to prevent and punish excessive use of force by law enforcement officials against members of ethnic, racial minorities, including unarmed persons. Now, this is the United States we're talking about, people, so we need to get a heads up on this. Now, federal authorities said that a tech researcher and hacker was able to use his laptop to hack into the operating systems of an airliner while it was in flight, by plugging into the entertainment system and then using it to burrow into the control and management systems of the plane. Now, that should frighten everyone. We will stay on that story as we are able. Now, in addition, we take a lot of the reports from the intelligence agencies about Al-Qaeda with a grain of salt. However, we were struck by the fact that according to the intelligence agencies, and again, we take it with skepticism, the treasure trove of documents discovered when bin Laden was killed included the possibility that they had found the human rights manual used to hire and retain employees of Al-Qaeda. Now, according to this alleged manual, it included questions like, quote, who should we contact in case you become a martyr? And now they also said, did you encounter any difficulties on the road to this place? Have you received any military training? They did not ask, as far as we know, where do you see yourself in 5 years? But who knows? Maybe they did. Now, a Russian billionaire has told us that he plans on becoming immortal by the year 2045. Now, the billionaire in question is named Dmitry Iskov, which raises the possibility that he is, in fact, a relative of mine, because the original Ukrainian/Russian language version of my name sounded very much like Itzkov. Now, cousin Dmitry says that he, who is 32 years old, by the way, thinks he can build himself an android body by the year 2045 and live forever. Now, granted, there are some problems with this idea. It's a few bugs that haven't been worked out yet. But according to a well-written article in Motherboard by Fruzina Erdog, Etskov has registered his own political party in Russia. It is called Evolution 2045. Now, he aims to, quote, create technologies enabling the transfer of an individual's personality to a more advanced non-biological carrier and extending life, including to the point of immortality. Cousin Dmitry says we are facing the time when the unconscious evolution period is almost finished and we come to a new period of controlled evolution. Now, we should say that not every billionaire has the guarantee, however, of continued wealth. We also learned this week that a Chinese billionaire lost some $15 billion of his own personal wealth in 1 hour after trading, or rather before trading was suspended for the company that he owns. He owns 80% of that company. Now, the good news is that that should mean that he might have $1 billion or $2 billion left. So if that Chinese billionaire wants to use his remaining money to live forever, I'm sure he can be put in touch with the Russian Dmitry Eskow. Now, for the rest of us, life goes on as usual. The economy is still a challenge for most Americans, and we are trying to reclaim our democracy from the immortal billionaires. This is Richard RJ Eskow, and this is The Zero